Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is a series on Java. This series is for people who know some kind of programming language but they don't know Java. So anyone who's interested to learn Java from the basic ground up, you are welcome here. So first we'll start with the high level overview of what is there in Java. We'll just cover some high level concepts. Let's get started. Now, coming to Java program or project, it consists of one or more packages. What is a package? Package is nothing but directory or folder, and package consists of one or more Java files. If you if you ever look at any Java project, you will see package written over there. That is nothing but the folder. Okay, and these Java files usually contain one class per file. So the structure is like this: there is a Java project, and that project consists of different packages, and each package consists of different Java files, and each Java file typically contains one class per file. So this is how typically a Java project will be structured. And class describes a new type of object and bundles its data members and methods. We'll see in the further slides. And class has one or more constructors. And just simple note point, from Java 9, packages can be later organized into larger unit called modules. Okay, so now to summarize that, what is the Java project structure? So it contains packages. A Java project contains one or more package is nothing but a directory or a folder, and each package contains Java files, one or more Java files, and each Java file contains classes, generally one class per file, and a class contains data members, constructors, and methods. Now let us quickly see an example of a circle class. Okay, now I'm just shifting to my web browser. So right now I'm using an online compiler, online editor. You can use Notepad or any IDE of your choice, but let's see here. So this is a typical circle class. Circle, public class circle. It has a radius private, int radius, it is data member, and it has a constructor. What is constructor and all, we will everything will deep dive in the further classes. This is just a high level overview of what Java is and what it contains. And we have a method, that is area. The basic thing it does is it returns the area of the circle with the given radius. Okay, now if you see the first line here, there is a package and public class circle, and let's quickly try to see what this is all about. Now if you see in the public class, uh, you see the word keyword public. Basically public means that the class can be used by any code in the program. If you take a package and there are different classes in the package, so if you want to use this circle class, you can just import that circle class and you can use it in any other class file because it is with the keyword public. Public means you can access from anywhere in the program. And another rule is class name should be same as file name. If you see, my class name here is circle and my file name is circle.java. The basic convention, the basic what we have to follow in Java is the class name should be same as file name. Okay, now if you see, there is one instance variable radius. So circle has one instance variable radius. So what is this instance variable? Instance variable is nothing but it is the variable for let's say when you create objects using this circle class, each object has its own copy of this radius. So we will see what is instance, what is static in the further. So basically instance is nothing but each object that is created using this circle class has its own copy of the radius. I will show you an example now. And you see, main method is starting point for any program. Since here there is no main method, let's try to add the main method, and let's calculate the area of specific circles. Public static void main. So this header, why we have to keep this header, we will see in the further classes. Just for now, it's important that you know we use public static void main. Okay, now I will create an object for the circle class. Let's say circle c1 is equals to new. Since I am having the constructor, I will just set the radius to be 5 now, and I will initialize another object of circle c2 is equals new circle with radius 10. Okay, now I have two objects and two instance variables of radius. So c1 has radius value of 5 and c2 has radius value of 10. Now let's get their area. Let's call the method area. So c1 dot area and c2 dot area. Okay, let's just print them out. System dot out dot println now system dot out dot println. Now okay, so I have the basic print statements ready with me. System dot out dot println just prints the standard output. So now if I try to run this, so I am getting the area of the first circle as 78.5 and the area of second circle is 31.314.0. so it is working correctly. It is just returning 3.14 into, let's say in the second case, 10 into 10, that is 100 into 3.14, that is 314. So we are able to access. And so this is the difference between instance and a static variable. We'll see the difference later, but simply remember that for any instance variable, each object c1 and c2 has its own copy of the radius. So c1 dot radius will be 5 and c2 dot radius will be 10. So that is with this. So let me just quickly comment it out and let's head with this. And yeah, so main method is the starting point for any program, as we seen, and we have run that program. Now let's see the data. So every data in Java is either primitive or object. So primitive is nothing but the basic integer, character, double, whatever the basic types that are there, we call those as primitive. And objects are generally defined by classes. Each new class defines a new type of object. Let's see examples. So major primitive types in Java are int, that is for integer whole number, double, that is for numbers with decimal point, boolean for holding true or false values, and char is holding for single character. Okay, now coming to primitive, since we have discussed primitive types, we will see some object types. So the basic object types that are available in Java are strings and arrays. Strings are defined by the string class, whereas arrays are defined in more traditional way, but they are still objects. We'll see why arrays are still objects in later classes, but what we have to know is strings and arrays both are objects in Java. Okay, so what is the difference between these primitive types and objects? So primitive types have operations, whereas objects have methods. So what is these methods and what are these operations? Let's consider 2 plus 4. So this is an operation. We have the plus operator, and 2 into n, 2 multiply n, and this is an operator, right? So we can perform operations on primitive types, whereas objects have methods. Let's say we have a string object first name dot caret of 0. So caret is a method in Java that prints the character at that particular index. So from first name dot caret at 0, it prints whatever the first character is there in that first name. Okay. And there is one exception to this. So we use this plus operator to generally concat strings. So that is one exception. And let's see some important terminology here. So first name dot caret of 0, it's not it's not like we are calling the method. In Java we don't call the method, we just send a message to the object with the method name and parameters. That's just the terminology, and we use dot operator for this. So basically the terminology is like object name dot method name followed by the parameters. So the terminology is that we are not calling the method, we are just passing it as a message to that particular object. Now some other things in Java. Literal strings are enclosed in double quotes. So if you want to store a string variable, you have to enclose them in double quotes, and character literals are enclosed in single quotes like this. Like if you want to store a character in a particular variable, you use single quotes, and all the values in array must be of same type. So in Java, arrays, all the values in an array should be of the same type. If you declare an integer array, all the values must be an integer. If you declare a boolean array, all the values must be boolean. Okay, now the type of the array can be written as the type of elements in it followed by square brackets. Like let's say if I have an integer array, I can define it as int square brackets array name. If I want to declare it as int square brackets and array name, I can define it like int square brackets array name equals to new int followed by how what is the size of the array that you want. Okay, so int array new int of 100, that means size of 100 elements can be fit into this integer array ARR. Now let's see the what is a declaration and what is definition. So all variables must be declared before using. So if you want to use any variable in Java, that must be declared first. So what is declaration? So int a. So I'm just telling I have a variable, integer variable that holds an integer value and its name is a. This is known as declaration. But if I give value to that variable, then that is called definition. So int a is equals to 5. Sorry, a is equals to 5. That is definition of that variable. Now I can just combine this declaration and definition in single statement. So int a is equal to 5. That is both declaration as well as definition. Now, so there are some note points here. Arrays in Java are zero based index. That means if an array of size 100 means it starts from 0 and it ends at 99. And to find length of an array, we can simply use array name dot length. We will get the length of that particular array. Since array is object, we can just simply call its length property to get that array. Now let's see an example of what are the default values that will be stored in arrays in Java. So we have primitive types, right? Integer, double, character, and we have objects, right? Strings, arrays. So what are the default values when you declare an array and do not give any values? So it will be 0 for integers, and it will be null for array of objects, and it will be false for a boolean array, and it will be null character or empty character for character arrays. So let's see an example for this. So I have a program main.java here. So basically we have the public class main and public static void main string args. So I have declared 4 arrays here: integer array, ARR, and character array, and string array, and boolean array. So here strings are objects in Java, so that is the reason to cover that null for array of objects I am using this string. So I am just printing it out, the default values, the first, what are the values that are there in first element of the declared arrays. Okay, so now if I run this program, the default value of int array is 0. So the default value when you declare an integer array will always be 0, and the default value for character array is empty. So you cannot see here because it is empty, or its Unicode value is 0. Okay, I'm just printing the Unicode value as well. And for strings it will be null, and for boolean arrays it is false. So this program demonstrates what are the basic values that will be in any declared array in Java. Okay, now let's see operators. So there are basic operators like mathematical operators, plus, minus, multiplication, division, and modulus or remainder. And the precedence of multiplication, division, and modulus is greater than plus and minus. And usually in Java, the order of precedence is from left to right, so the expressions will be evaluated from left to right. And we do not have any exponent operator, but we have the method pow from math module to find exponent of any variable. So we can simply import that math module, and math dot pow of x comma 2 means x to the power 2, we'll get that result. And we have boolean operators like logical or and not. We have comparison operators less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, double equals, and not equals. And yeah, so one note point in Java is you cannot write a number in Java where a boolean is expected. In C++, you can, where a boolean is expected, you can either write any number, but in Java you cannot do that. Java will not accept that. Now coming to next, program structure. So this is how a program will be structured in Java. So Java program consists of one or more classes. Each class is typically present in a file of its own. In Java, let's say the class name is example, then it will be present in the file name example.java. So whatever your class name, that should be same as your file name. And a Java file may contain package declaration and some other import statements which will give it access to some particular classes that we may need to use in the program. And if there are classes that are defined in same package, we do not need to import them explicitly, and the coding for the class usually follows after this declaration. So if you see any program here, so let's take this circle program, we have this package declaration, right? And followed by this there will be import statements. After that we start basically coding for the class. So the typical structure is, before any coding for any class in Java file, we have the package and we have the import declarations of which classes we may use in our files. Now, so let's say package random folder import java.util.hashset. So these are the import statements in Java. Let's say if you want to import everything from a package, we can just use the asterisk. So if we write import java.util.star, it will import all the classes that are present in this java.util package. And now this class is a recipe or blueprint for making objects. The class contains data members, constructors, and methods. Classes are public, that are available everywhere in the program. So if you write a class as public, you can use it anywhere in the program. And a declaration of a data type. A declaration consists of data type, name, optional equals to, and a value, and it can be marked as public or private. So let's see an example of a declaration. So public static double Avogadro number equals to that particular Avogadro constant. Okay, so leave about this static for now. We will see static and instance and everything when we are covering the object oriented concepts deep. Now you can just ignore for now. Basically what you can think of static is like, think that it belongs to the class, and any object that is created from the class will have the access to the same copy. As instance variable example, here in the circle, each object that is created with the class circle has a different copy of radius, right? But if I just put a static here and give it a value, so each object that is created will have the same radius value of whatever we give it. That's the only difference between static and instance variable. We will discuss this later on in deep. Okay, basically you have to think that instance variable, each object has its own copy. The static variable, each object has the same copy. Static variable belongs to the class, not the objects. Now, so what is the use of constructor? A constructor is used to create and initialize objects. So if you see here, we have this constructor here, public circle. Circle is used to create an object as well as initialize it. So we are initializing the C1 with the radius of 5. And constructors do not have any return type and they do not return any value, but sometimes if you want to exit a constructor, you can have this bare return. So you can, so in cases you want to exit from a constructor, you can use that just simple return, but constructor do not returns any value. Sorry, I wrote it in the area function. It's okay, area method. And apart from initialization and creation of objects, constructor does a lot of things, and we'll see what a constructor does in the future. Now coming to methods. Methods is a callable piece of code. It's like a function, but it belongs to the object. So method is basically like a function, but it belongs to object. Each object has its methods. Methods can return any primitive types. Methods can return object types. Methods can even return void. Okay, so that's about the program structure. Now coming to program execution. So generally IDEs provide a simple way to develop and run our program. We can use IDEs like IntelliJ IDEA, Xcode, NetBeans, Eclipse, etc. Or we can use our simple text editor, Notepad, Notepad++, VS Code, etc. We can use any text editor or IDE to develop and run our programs, but IDEs make it much more easier. Once you explore the IDEs, you will understand them a lot better. The development process becomes very simple with the help of IDEs. Now coming to this program execution. Program starts execution at the main method of a public class. Main method should have the same exact header, public static void main, string args. This is just high level, right? So we'll discuss this later on, but remember this for now. Now coming to this. To run a Java program, you have to first compile it by going to its location. And the way we compile a Java program is we go to that location in terminal or command prompt if you are using Windows, terminal if you are using Mac. So we use the command javac filename.java. So what it does is it basically compiles your Java program. Now after compiling the Java program, we use the command java filename. So this will just execute our compiled bytecode. Yeah, now the program is executed. Let's consider this scenario. If our Java program uses multiple files, so before compiling our file, we have to compile all those files to get our result. So let's say my Java class is importing another class which I have not compiled. So if I compile my class, I will get the error because that class is not yet compiled. So first I have to compile all the dependencies, then dependency files, then only I can compile my program. Now for any programming language, the starting is hello world. So now let's see how we can write simple hello world in Java. So I'm just uncomment. I have a class hello world.java. So public class hello world, and I'm initializing a string with hello with value hello world, and I have my main method. So it is basically creating it's trying to call the do something method. It's creating a new object and it's immediately calling the do something method. So what will happen is, so the object that is created will call this do something method, and the do something method will print out this whatever that is there in this hello variable. Okay, so now let me run it. So it will print hello world, right? Now this program begins its execution at the main, and since main is static, so this static cannot access any non-static members or methods. So that is the reason we are creating a new object for this class, so that we have to access this do something method. Since this is static, we are creating a new object, and that object is accessing this do something method, and this do something is printing the hello world, right? So this is happening in this program. So we are creating a new object of hello world, and we are calling the do something method of this hello world class, and we are getting the output as hello world. Now, so other note point is that class names generally begin with a capital letter and method names generally begin with small letter. So if you see, my method names generally they begin with small letter, and the class names generally they begin with capital letter. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. If you have any doubts, keep in the comments. I am there to help, and let's continue this series.